Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of the Feast of Senses. Sub-Commander Girafe is here and only here for the free buffet. That is right. Oh, and Murph is here too. Yes, Murph is here too. Commander Emcee is here as well and also here for the free buffet. Listen, I think we're just all here for the free buffet and the stomach juices of the Villar Hog. I want whatever doll was drinking, so I'm going to go eat at that Feast of Senses buffet. It looked good.
I am always here for a buffet. So
Yeah.
I'm never here for a buffet on a planet where you've never been and you don't know if what they're eating is not going to kill you. Why?
I'd eat it.
yeah, I'd eat it.
I'd eat
I'm
it.
like, you don't even know if you're not allergic to the thing.
Yeah, that's why you eat it and find out later. You enjoy it.
Give it a little bit of like of a tricorder.
No, of course.
And eat it. Yes.
I feel like in Star Trek, considering they never have problems with this kind of stuff, they must have like a booster shot that they take like for every
Oh,
planet.
they definitely take a booster shot before they go down.
They have a stomach lining of the gods.
Imagine in TOS, right? Like Kirk and them going down to the planet of the week. It's like, all right, guys, we're going down to the Vegas planet this week. Boost them up. We're hitting the buffets.
Especially because in the ship they're always eating like these like little cubes of color.
Yeah, cubes, yeah.
Yeah, man. Things went downhill on that ship after Kirk took over, man. Pike was cooking ribs and crap, like
yeah,
bacon.
Man.
Oh, they had some budget cuts.
Oh man. How we doing, guys? I guess we're hungry because we're talking about buffets.
No,
I had
my
a good
stomach
dinner.
actually hurt. That's why I'm talking about stomach lining.
Okay, so maybe we'll cut the buffet talk and talk about the episode we're talking about this week, which is There in Beauty No Truth, episode 208 of Star Trek Prodigy. With Zero's suit damaged beyond repair, what happens when a colony of non-corporeal beings reach out to them and offers to help? How does Zero react to their new body that they get on this planet? And what piece of information does the colony not tell Zero that comes with all of the bells and whistles of having this brand new body? Back on Voyager, what happens when Janeway and the Doctor discover that the gang are hollow doubles? We are going to break it all down. But first, Emcee, it is your turn. Can you thank our amazing Patron Collective members at the Ready Room level and above, please?
Absolutely. Thanks to Simon Stager, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Ken Hui, Taco Nagumo, Frigana Nagalis, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, B. Tellerite, not Tellerwrong, Maggie Light, Tarana Killicus, Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc, Sean J. Howard, Anna Yerdadon, Mehalani Uchiyama, Matt Herker, Davey Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Brood Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Aaron W., Lanky Guy, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Meredith, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, 3 Fries Short, Kate Tip, Tripping the Read Alert Over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher, CBF, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Buckwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Taryn J. Robinson, Rod Grinner, Eric the Red, Trouble, Jamie Roberts, Honey Berry, Paul Taylor Pitt, and Brett Jones. And as always, a big thanks to our Badmirals, our EPs, Simon Sager, Commander Chris Waterman, Tara Poland, and Brett Jones.
Woo! Emcee, that was great. It's been a while since you've done it too, so
It has been.
That was well done. Well done. So you all know how the sausage is made at this point. We're recording this the same time as last week's episode.
We're wearing the same clothes.
We're wearing the same clothes. Oh, I was gonna do one thing.
Switch out to Zero.
These guys gotta go, and we gotta bring in Zero for this one. There we go. Oh, you got that signed by? Is that signed by Aaron?
It's signed by Aaron, Kevin, Dan, and Bonnie.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome. Nice. Nice.
Oh no, Nami has not signed it. Nami.
Nami.
Oh, no.
Nami.
Nami will have to sign it.
It was so good to see Nami in Vegas, by the way. That was a pleasure. Um,
Always.
always. Yeah, so I don't think we have any new news other than your
The same
Trexperts.
news than
Yeah,
last week.
yeah,
Yes.
your Trexperts
We're
is
not
coming
in
up,
the
MC.
future yet. So
Not
we
in the
don't
future
know.
yet. Nope,
Mm.
don't know. When you know, we'll know. So other than that, just go check out our friends over at Heroes and Villains and get 20% off your first order using the code STRANGE, and get your hands on some Star Trek shirts, some bags, some long tees. It's getting to be fall soon, and they got some long sleeves as well. And I'm gonna take a gander and say with D23 happening, they probably have some new stuff coming out soon. So yeah, check them out and use our code. Get 20% off your first order. Moving right along in this episode because we are cool like that. It's the Strange New Loop. So, kind of existential if you were in this situation, if you were a non-corporeal being and had a chance to be given a brand new Cylon body like in Battlestar Galactica, would you take the offer? Go ahead, MC.
My very corporeal body is incredibly broken, so I want to be non-corporeal.
There you
Just-
go.
just,
Okay,
like,
I
get
like the
rid of this all.
reversal. Yeah.
Well. Do I get to be like non-corporal or do I get to be a golem?
You get to be a golem, but MC
A
reversed it,
golem
which
is
I'll take
fine.
too. Yeah.
A golem is fine. Like Picard is not complaining. Like they can feel, they can touch, they can have fun times with Laris. I'm good with a golem. Put me in a golem, yes.
Picard did complain the minute he woke up. He's like, "You didn't add any years to this thing. Like, I'm not gonna live to like 300."
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're like, oh no, and the golem will die when you die. And like,
Yeah.
no, that's cheating. I want
no.
a synth golem. I want a data body.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want to not have to worry about my stomach hurting.
That's
Uh,
exactly it. Like, I don't want a body that is just going to have like the same aches and pains that my current human body has.
I do have to say, like, Jean-Luc did get the crap end of the stick with that golem, right? Because in season 3, when they're about to board Beverly's ship, he gets like a shoot of pain down his arm, and it's like, you really programmed him to still have like all the old
It's
age crap happen. Like,
sadistic.
come on,
There's no
man.
other word. I want to be able to do only the fun thing with my body.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I want to be able to sleep. I want to be able not to need to sleep, but to be able to sleep.
Be able to sleep, yeah.
Sleep
Sleep
and
is
dream.
fun.
I want to be able to eat. I want to be able to do other things, but that's all. I don't want aches.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know how efficient that'd be. If I didn't
So
have to
basically, you want to
worry.
be 18 again.
that, but not 18
But
in
with,
here.
yeah.
So
yes.
I'll share a little story. One of our amazing patron members and a friend of mine, Dana, has been over visiting over a few weekends, and she's come to the brewery and had drinks, and we've had a lot of drinks at some points and stayed up way too late. And I'm the one who wakes up wishing that I was dying, and because I felt like I was dying. And she wakes up like nothing happened because she's in her mid-20s, and God, do I miss my mid-20s. She does not
It's a metabolism thing. I don't do hangover.
at
I
all.
never have. No, I'm
Ah.
tired because I didn't sleep enough, but I don't have the headache, the thing, the nausea. I never
Usually,
had it.
like once 30 hits, it's just all over. It's
I know
all
what you
over.
mean. Like, I was
Yeah.
fine throughout my 20s, and basically as soon as I hit 30, it's like, no.
Yeah,
I also don't drink a lot, to be honest. So.
that's true. That's true. So yeah, I would take the body. I would take the new body, but also I would say you need to program no hangovers into that. And an ever regenerating liver.
And
would be
kids, ask
excellent.
your parents what is a hangover.
Or don't.
We'll explain to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I would totally take it. But also, like, from what I understand, like, if they're on the planet, besides getting eaten by the big stingray thing, they don't die.
Which is a big minus.
It's a big
giant
minus.
minus.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. But like, I think once they're dead, they're dead. Like, I would like the Cylon way of doing, like, the resurrection ship, right? Like, once that body dies, boop, wake up in a new one. Boop, wake up in a new one. That would be nice.
I'd be tired at one point. I know it, but whatever.
I think we were talking about this in the last episode. We still don't know how Medusan life cycles work.
No, we don't. And I feel like that
We
actually,
know they have babies because in Preludes we see
yeah,
them with the little Medusans.
yeah,
Woo.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yep. Good Strangely Loop. I like that one. Let's get into reviewing this one. Is there in beauty no truth? Our order tonight will go Emcee, Girafe, followed by myself. If you're wondering where Hawk is, he's just taking the night off. This was one night. We recorded 2 episodes, so you'll see him for 9 and 10. We got to talk about that. I think we're going to maybe try and go live for 9 and 10. Those are big episodes.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fun. So let's do this thing. Reaching out and landing on Ovidia 4. So the episode starts with Zero feeling kind of like a burden, right? Because their suit is gone to hell. Can't really do anything. Jankum tries his very best, and it just doesn't get the job done. And that is all until a fellow Medusan named Ion reaches out saying they can help with Zero's issue. They reach out telepathically, and Zero tells the crew, and they land and are greeted by that same Medusan in a corporeal body. Ion tells Zero that they too can have the same. It's the used car salesman's pitch. What do you think about Zero Z possibly becoming corporeal? Emcee.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the episode title. I love that they did this because one, it's one of my favorite TOS episodes. I love is there in truth no beauty, which is it's going to make me insane for the rest of my life because I always got it confused before, and now there's an episode that's my confused title. So I will get them confused for the rest of my life. But it was the first episode that introduced the Medusans, and it works perfectly for this episode. The Prodigy writers are so good with coming up with their titles, and they're so good at referencing previous Star Treks in their titles. So just to get that out of the way first. And at this beginning, I've said before in these reviews, Zero is one of my favorite characters. So getting an episode that focuses on them, this is something that I was really waiting for because I don't think we've had one since Let Sleeping Porgs Lie. And in terms of it focusing on them getting a corporeal body, it absolutely makes sense because if you have a character who is non-corporeal and everybody else is corporeal, especially when you're dealing with teenage characters, everybody wants to be able to fit in. And this is something that they've set up for Zero this season, that they feel disconnected from everyone else. And this is very much a teenage issue, this idea of alienation. And I think they are exploring it through Zero. And so by giving this character the chance, it's like you can now totally fit in. It is a great avenue to explore them as a character past what we've seen before. So I love the possibility, and clearly Zero was so enthusiastic about it. So I like them being happy.
Nice. Giraffe.
I'm glad that these happens to them and not to a real Starfleet crew because there are so many backstories in Star Trek that tells them to not do this, right?
That's true.
Like the rando that reach out telepathically to invite you to their planet. It's one of the episodes in Enterprise where like the guy tries to Beauty and Beast Hoshi Sato. Do you remember that episode?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know, in the middle of this nothingness of space, I don't know. They're like, yeah, let's go. They're so trustful. Like for kids that
Mhm.
have been kidnapped and sold, they're like so ready to trust any rando that they stumble on in space. Then the whole plot of the planet for me was so midsummer. I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, do not trust
That's
these
true.
people. Do not trust these people. Like they're like, here, food, and they have flowers on their head. I'm like, every single horror movie I've watched also told me to not do this. So I like the fact that everything in that episode at the beginning was like, it's a trap.
Mm.
And it was not, which sure, but I still think kids should learn about not trusting people giving you food with flour in their head and like just telling you, it's good, we're gonna give you a new body. No, don't you think? Weren't you thinking it was a trap?
Oh no.
Oh, it was
I was gonna
absolutely a
get.
trap.
I was gonna get to that. Like
Okay.
So, are you good? Do you want me to just go?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
agree. It's good for Zero. It's like it
Right.
makes sense with the character. Like this is totally somewhere where they need to go. It's like a rite of passage.
So I watched this episode like 3 times before we did the pod because every single time, even though we know what happens at the end, my mind is still perplexed that this wasn't a trap,
They're
right?
lying. They're
Like,
lying. It's too
right.
good to be true.
Well, right,
We're so
because every
broken.
Star Trek episode, like every episode of Star Trek always ends with it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true.
Not
It's
in Discovery.
too good. Okay, not in Discovery, but it's too good to be true. And this wasn't. Like it legitimately wasn't. But of course, I'm like, oh man, like going what Emcee was saying in our last episode, it's like Zero has gotten the crap end of the stick for like a long time. And man, they're gonna do this to them now. Like they're gonna play on their emotions and promise them a new body, and then there's gonna be some crap. But at the same time, I was like, but if this is real, if this is like really the way they're going, this is gonna be something really beautiful. So
I was really worried that they were possessing the local people.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like,
right?
where are they finding these bodies?
Well, it reminded me of Star Trek Beyond, right? It's like, did they steal this technology? Did like
Oh, yeah,
somebody's
yeah.
did they stumble upon this and are using it for like nefarious deeds? Like I had so many questions. And then when the episode ended and it was positive, I was like, good for you, Star Trek. That makes me so happy. But no, it's like, because of course you want Z, or I love calling them Z. Like I love Z being happy. Like they are one of the best characters on the show. So to have a chance like this, even though we know what happens in that at the end of the season, it's great that they get this arc. So I was really excited for it.
And the character design is so beautiful.
Gorgeous. This
It's
episode is
great.
beautiful. It is so Midsummer though.
It's
It's so
1000%
Midsummer.
Midsummer, right?
Oh my god.
I was like, the
oh
bear?
yeah. Oh man. So of course Zero accepts, right? And they wake up in their new body, excited to receive hugs from all their friends. Rock is like, I've been wanting to do this forever. My heart. They all proceed to enjoy the Feast of Senses, and when they keep saying the Feast of Senses, I'm like, someone's gonna get eaten. There's gonna be a ritual sacrifice. What is happening at this feast? But then it's like, oh, it's really just a feast, and they're enjoying themselves. And Doll's getting drunk on whatever the what was it that I called it? The juices of the Velar hog. Like, you know, it was just happy go lucky again. I'm like,
There's dancing.
yeah, there's dancing. Like, where's the trap? Where's the trap?
Made me think of like Lower Decks when, Rutherford is so scared to ask to change.
Oh yeah.
Change
Divisions, yeah.
divisions, and they're like, absolutely, everybody's so nice, and you're like, oh my god, something is going to happen. No, nothing happens. Nothing happens at all.
No, he does eject a bunch of children out of the kindergarten on board the ship, but you know, that's the holiday.
It's a holiday.
They were holographic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about that. And I love this too because I know it was earlier in the episode, but like the locals are also like enjoying the sense of Jenkum's waft because he has, you know, a smell. I loved everything about this. Thoughts on Zero accepting the new body and waking up and enjoying, feeling their friends and enjoying this feast. Emcee.
So the first half of this season, I thought was very slow going. There's a lot of building up to things. And this is the episode for me that kind of where things started to really shift. In that when Zero came out and they have their new body and Rock Talk said, I've been waiting so long to do this, and they all group hug Zero, I cried. Like I love these kids, and just like I love their friendship, and that Zero is so happy to be able to experience this for the first time. And like I was saying before about the alienation, the not being able to affect anything, not being able to touch their friends. And touch is a very powerful thing, being able to make that sort of connection with people. And it was just so great to see that. And then the feast, seriously, like I was waiting for like the other shoe to drop, like something has to happen, but it's all, I mean, and it's because they also set it up because was it Ion kind
Yeah.
of like like makes a comment and it's like, you know, wait until he finds out or something like that,
They
or
have to
you
find
know,
out on their own. Yeah.
they have to find out on their
Yeah.
own. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very much like this horror movie, like setup, like what's the catch that's gonna go on? Like it this is it somebody else's body? Do they have to like, are all of Zero's friends going to be like kidnapped and like ground up for parts?
Oh,
It's Soylent Green. It's made of people.
Well, I mean, like, what are the bodies made of? Like,
For real, there's so many references to a horror movie in that episode. Or is it me reading too much into it? But I was like,
No,
you're
but
not reading
also-
too much into it.
Yeah.
I went get out on it.
well, imagine if that was, and then you bring up things like Wonder Woman 84 too. It's like, oh, using somebody else's body, you know, like
Oh,
ooh.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
right. I
yeah,
know.
that was not a good movie. Let's not speak about this one.
Yeah, it's an awful.
Yeah, let's and but the feast was so sweet. Like I liked the dancing. I like rock talk. I don't want to step on their tiny new feet. It was so adorable. And then Jankum just being like, oh, well, dance like Jankum and his terrible dancing.
That would be me.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah.
clear the dance floor. Yeah, and it was great. I loved it.
Nice. Giraffe.
I didn't know if I liked the episode the first time I watched it because I had trouble understanding the motivations of Zero. I understand wanting to be able to experience things. I totally understand, but I think I speak for all of us. All our bodies have limitations, right? And I know that some people don't wish these limitations to be changed because that's who they are or how the body are made or how the body function. So I was trying to understand like what was the parallel that they were going for in real life, like what was the metaphor, right? Like was it about dysphoria, was it about ableism, what is it about, like what was it about, you know? And I could not really understand because I like, for example, I would have loved to be able to conform, but I cannot physically change how I look. So I was never able to conform the way teenage me would have loved to be able to conform, right? But it made me a more interesting person, in my opinion.
You're a very interesting person.
Thank you. But like for real, like if you had asked me at 12 or like 15 or 16, I would have told you I want to be white. I want my body to change right now because it's limitation. It's limiting me. And I want to be able to conform. I want to be able to be a part of the group. I want to look like my friends. And it was a bad thing. I see it now with retrospection and I'm like, this is not good. I'm glad that it was not an option, right? Because this is who I am and that's how I go through life. And, you know, it's my karma. I don't know. But I was I was kind of like trying to understand why everybody was so on board with Zero wanting to totally change themselves, totally in a radical way. And I I I understand dysphoria. I understand like that, you know, some people are not matching their appearance and their body and their ability and they want to change that. But I was not really clear in the episode what they were talking about. And I think it's fine because it leaves you able to interpret it how you want it. But my first reading of it was like, why would you want to change yourself? Why would you want to be different of who you are because I read it through my own experience, but I'm sure other people read it in another way. And anyway, like fast forwarding, and that's what I was telling you, like in the whole seeing the season as a whole, the fact that we're spoiling, sorry if you've not seen, but now you've seen everything normally. So the fact that Zero reverts to their non-corporeal form, I was like, well, then what was the point? It was just for it was just, was it just for them to be able to experience and know that they were okay in the way they were born? Or was it a sacrifice that was necessary, and like that they did the sacrifice and nobody really died? Like, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
I
I'm
do. I do. I get it.
I like it. I'm not like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it creates a lot of question in my mind.
I think it's really complex for Zero, right? Because Zero is a member or a potential member of Starfleet. And I don't want to mistake this with saying that it's something they should have done. The choice should always have been Zero's, and Zero made the choice that they
Mhm.
wanted to make. But I think what goes on in Zero's head is, as someone who might become a Starfleet officer and a Medusan, well, I want to be able to feel. So that's number one. I want to be able to feel things. So that's reason number one to get a body. And Starfleet apparently had limitations to not put that in the suit, and
But
Jankum
they
didn't, because
do.
but
Yeah.
Jankum, through Jankum's wizardry, right? Whether that's a MacGuffin or not. I think reason number two is that I think there is a bit of fear within Zero about, well, what we were talking about in the last episode. What if my suit breached and I hurt all my friends, right? What happens when I'm on a starship and we're attacked by Romulans? And sorry to use Romulans, they're good guys. We know this. Um, what if we're attacked by the Borg and they breach the hull and they breach my suit again? So this is keeping my friends safe. This is giving me an opportunity to finally do things that I want to do, be like feel and touch and smell and maybe we keep talking about not knowing what the Medusan life cycle is. Are they immortal? Maybe even feeling the opportunity to be able to die, you
Mhm.
know? So I think there's a variety of different reasons why Zero made this decision. And
Yeah.
I really like it. Go ahead, MC.
I mean, just thinking about it, the way you put it like that, the fact that they need the fear of death suggests to me that Medusas actually are immortal.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that it was actually very important to have this happen after the suit was damaged in such a way that Zero can't do anything. Like they were trying to repair the suit and it wasn't working. Now, if Zero was just totally 100% and just going along and then had to make the decision, do I want to give up my suit that is perfectly fine or have this bio, living suit? Which one do I choose? But in this situation, Zero is on a mission with their friends, a potentially incredibly dangerous mission, and can't do anything. And this is the only way they can help. So I can totally see them wanting, taking the opportunity to take the body in that case, because otherwise, I mean, as we saw in the original TOS episode, Medusans around people get lugged around in cases. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point about Zero, right? Like, we've known this since day one about them. They are a super selfless character, right? Always putting the needs of the many, above theirs. So that's a great point.
I wonder also how their relationship with Majel is impacting. I mean, I
Yes.
understand the
Yeah.
suit is the major toy, right? I didn't
Yeah.
like factor this into the story. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I wonder also how the relationship with Majel is affecting their not
decisions.
need,
Emotional
but
state.
their
Yeah. Yeah.
really their research on this question of feelings,
Yeah.
their exploration of it.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Yep. So running of the what was it, the Nazamon or the I can't I didn't get
Nazimon. Yeah.
Nazamon.
It sounds like
Yeah.
a Pokemon.
It does. So of course you
Looks
you
like
don't,
one.
it does. You don't get a brand new Cylon body without there being a catch, because we all knew there was a catch. Though in the grand scheme of catches, this really isn't a horrible one, in my opinion. Which is of course the sacrificial running of the Nazamon, which lets the runners feel free and possibly get eaten by a giant stingray. Dahl and Gwyn find Zero and attempt to talk them out of it, but Zero continues, and Dahl winds up inside the Nazamon along with Zero. Eventually, Gwyn and Co., by doing the flowers that are on the crowns, which were gorgeous, distracted enough to let Dahl and Zero out. But like, everything about this is beautiful too, because like while they're in the mouth of this giant beast, Zero is also like, look at this beautiful view. We might get eaten, but like, it's gorgeous right now. Look. And it was just kind of epic. I loved it. Thoughts on the Nazamon being redacted from the sales pitch, but this scene, MC.
I mean, this scene was good. I mean, other than the fact that it's another race, and we've had quite a few races. We've had so many races that we had 2 in a row. And yeah, this is a different kind of race, but still kind of the same. The Nazmon being redacted. I mean, I get it, because do I get it? Because the thing is, Ion says that it's necessary for the fear, but the thing is, it seems like everybody else except Zero knows. So if they're able to still feel a fear of death, then why does Zero have to go into it? Because the thing is, how can you feel the fear of death unless you know that there's something to fear? Because Zero was having a good time until Dahl was like, hey, by the way, that thing is trying to kill you.
To be absolutely fair, even after they tell them that, they're still having a good time. They're like, no, I'm going to finish the race. Yeah.
Okay, that is true. The lie of omission that I think is the bigger deal than the Nazamon is you can't leave the planet.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, go ahead.
There's so many fine prints, basically, right?
There are, yeah. But I think like that one's a bigger deal, because that one, like, don't install me in the body if I have to stay here, but install me, because I mean, like, the thing is, they don't have to run.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't they have to run?
I don't think it was required to run, right?
No, it wasn't.
Not
That's
everybody
another
ran.
thing that was not written in the contract. I don't know.
Nope.
BT dubs, you have to run now.
BT dubs. Yeah. Rock totally would have read that contract.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. That's why you keep Rock around.
I expected Zero to read the contract, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
They were excited. They had a body and could potentially go back to their girlfriend and
true.
get some smooches.
Yes. I think it was a lot of like, oh, by the way. Oh, by the way. Oh, by the way. And I was like, I thought they were nice. I thought they were like, that we're all good. But no, you're going to run and like get eaten by the fly sky, whatever. And I don't know. I love Zero. Zero is just, oh, this is beautiful. I think it was cute. I wanted a little bit more of suspense and tension, maybe.
Yeah, there wasn't any.
There was not.
None.
Like, even when the giant thing is trying to eat everybody, it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, Dahl got eaten and he still got out.
Yep. And they were perfectly fine. There's
and
no.
Dahl, who usually freaks out for everything, was kind of okay with it. But yeah, it was a very chill episode, which makes me wonder what they actually ate and drank. But Yeah. And then you cannot leave the planet is such it's such like the usual catch, you know? So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we know they're gonna leave the planet, so what now? You know, I don't know. It was again, I like the episode, but at the same time, I'm very confused by it. um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Don't let people get eaten by
no, don't let people get
sky
eaten.
rays or whatever.
But like that's such a good point because there's no stakes in this episode. There's just none. You know they're not going to have Zero get eaten after getting a new body. They're smiling the entire time. Zero, like I said earlier, is like, look at the beautiful view. It's gorgeous. We're in the body of this thing that could be digesting us for the next 1,000 years, like Boba Fett. But here we are. Um,
By the way,
so-
your
I
zero is
read
pretty
that
good.
thing. I
Thank
read
you.
that thing and it was horrible, by the
Yeah.
way. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So I don't know. I actually, and for the record, I love this episode, but there are no stakes. This is a very happy episode because even when they're like, you can't leave, Zero's like, the hell I can't. I'm going. Peace out. See you later. And then Ion's like, what a noble decision. Love it. Go. And if your body dies, don't come back. You know, you can't get a new one.
Yeah. They also don't tell them about the fact that if they die, they just revert to a non-corporeal form and they
Yeah.
don't die,
They don't die.
which again is something you should write on the contract,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and also is the planet like the resurrection ship from Battlestar? Like, can you come and get a new one? Is like, you know, is that like something that Zero could have done? They didn't say that they couldn't. It was fun though, and I will say this is, I think, maybe the most beautiful episode animation wise of Prodigy that there is.
It's very pretty.
It is, the colors are gorgeous, the crowns are so detailed, the acting is really good. Zero's just overwhelming joy is infectious. It's a great episode. It's just
Yeah.
there's no stakes. Go ahead.
I have to say that it's pretty in a way that I don't usually expect from Star Trek because it is a lot of biological stuff. Like ships on the Star Trek, they've got down very well, but the fact that it is very much, people looking pretty, plants and environments. So like
Organic,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, organic. Right word. I know words. I'm a writer.
Yeah. Where are we? Zero takes the risk. We just talked about this. Zero confronts Ion and be like, WTF. Who are they, and I think Zero is still appreciative towards Ion, but when they're like, you can't leave, Zero's like, no, I'm leaving. They decide to leave the Enclave, not knowing what is gonna really happen to this body, but it is that risk to live life to its fullest, which I really thought was wonderful. Would you have stayed or would you have gone, MC?
Would you stay or would you?
Thank you.
No.
Thank you so much. I absolutely would have gone. Especially because like if they lied to you about all this stuff, they're gonna be lying to you about other things.
I'd love a sequel to this episode.
By the way, you can't sleep. By the way, like there's too many fine prints.
Yeah.
I think going back to Preludes, where Zero explained how they grew up exploring and they're part of people who are free and people would go. I mean, they're not people, but entities who love exploring and who love looking at things and seeing the worlds around. I feel that for Medusan to be stuck in a place like this, even like they have to trade what makes their culture for the ability to have a body. And I understand that Zero doesn't take it. Like they also have a pact with the crew, right? Like it's like the Musketeers, right? and I understand that they leave, but also it made me deeply sad to think of all these Medusans who trade their freedom and the love of exploration and their wonder for everything around them to be able to eat and drink and feel. And I'm like,
And okay,
is that a fair trade-off?
and I know that this is a kids show, I'm not saying this in a jokey way, but you also have to imagine with an enclave like that, I have to imagine that there's like a lot of, if you catch my drift, other things that go on, right? Like first, it's
Smooching.
more than smooching. Like there's
Well,
the
yes,
feast.
but that's what we'll say.
Yes, but like the feast of senses, right? Like that's a giant buffet. I'm sure there is a feast of feeling.
Maybe not.
Every night. I don't know.
Maybe not. Like we know nothing about the biology of these.
That's a good
these
point.
Orbs, and like
True.
you can't also, like, Star Trek has really taught us, like, you can't put on human biology,
No,
human
that's a great
understanding
point.
of gender
Yeah.
to like alien races. That's a good thing. Like Zero says that they are not a she and they are not a he in the first episode of Prodigy, so they remain this way in their corporal form. Like that's something that is not explored at all, and I had so many questions.
But I do appreciate that they did a good job with these bodies, making them all look similar, right? Like they are definitely not a gendered body, right? Um,
I
I
didn't pay
found
so much attention,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's fine to leave it be and leave it
Right,
not
right.
a question, you know. But I really, what troubled me is how they just abandon their ability to explore.
Yeah.
And
Well, one thing, like Zero is very young. We don't know how old any of these other, and it's not just Medusans, because Zero does mention that there are some other non-corporeal species on this planet.
Mhm.
They just all happen to look the same because they all have these grown bodies. So it's possible that these other Medusans and other aliens have done all of that exploring, and now they're enjoying exploring this corporeal existence. I mean, that's the only thing that I can really do to explain it. Did they explain how they got to this planet? Like,
They
I
sure
just
didn't.
watched this episode. I just watched this episode like 2 hours ago, but I can't remember. But I
No,
mean,
they definitely
like, can
didn't.
they?
are
No.
they all stranded there? Like
Yeah.
it's like I have so many questions. Like, can they have babies? Are they interested in having babies? Can this body do that? Can they go away if they still want to? Like Zero, do they have a ship stashed somewhere? Like, I have so many questions.
Same. I want a sequel. Um, and I would have, okay, so maybe the unpopular opinion. I think I would have stayed for a little. I don't know if I would have stayed forever. I think I would have maybe made a decision like the next time other folks rolled around and had a ship, and I'd be like, okay, I've been here long enough. It's time to go. But I think I would have wanted to see like what the culture is of this enclave, like, right? Like what is beyond just the feast? Is there a religion? Is there like what is taught? What is kept secret? What is hidden? What is out in the open? I think it would be a really interesting study. But at one point I'd like to get the hell out of there as well. So
And
Would you stay with the situation that they're in? Like Gwen is dying
no,
and they're going for Chakotay.
let's
Like,
forget the
with that,
situation.
all that
Forget
stuff
the
out.
situation for a second.
Okay.
I would stay. Given the situation, no, I would of course go help my friends. But
and
if there was no more, like if I was on an away team and this happened and we were just a ship of exploration, I'd be like, maybe I'm resigning my commission and sticking around for a little bit.
well, it makes me think like it made me think of the TOS episode with
This side of paradise.
This Side of Paradise. Thank you.
Same.
Yeah. Where you like everybody's way too happy.
Yeah.
It is. It is
Yeah.
very this side of paradise.
Yeah, it is.
But
It is.
also it made me think, and Strange New World, it made me think of the Lotus Eater in the Odyssey. Because in the Odyssey, this is basically what it is. It's people who are always happy just feasting, and they forget where they're from and who they are and what they're doing, because they're so happy that they never go back home, and they just stay there because it's safe and it's good and it's nice. And Ulysses like loses a bunch of his sailors because they want to stay there, and every time they eat the fruits, they forget a little bit more about home and they give up the ability to leave that place because they're so happy there. And I thought it was an interesting take on it. And that is what a Lotus Eater is, by the way. By the way. But that really made me think of this. With the difference that they don't forget who they are, but they do forget about their how can I say that? Like their impulsion that make them
Yeah.
come all the way there, you know? So it's interesting. It's an interesting episode, like honestly. There's a lot
Yeah.
of layers.
Agreed completely. Let's step away from the planet and go back on board Voyager. The ruse is obviously up. The Doctor, ashamed and not realizing that he was duped by his own works, they deactivate the holograms, but later on they recreate the Gwyn hollow to discover what like the kid's plan was, right? They also ask her because Mijel brings up, I think it's Mijel who brings up the missing minutes. And when they ask her about that, she begins to become terrified, explaining what she saw and felt, to the point where the Doctor's like, end program, like, let's not let her suffer anymore. Not a lot to talk about here because it's really setting up the next two episodes, but do you guys want to add anything to that, MC?
Mostly that Ella Purnell did a fantastic job. She sounded
Yeah.
terrified.
Yeah, agreed. Draft?
Yeah, it was good. I like I really like the plot, the trope of like missing time in Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm totally okay with them doing again. And there's this amazing TNG episode where they realize that they have a missing time and they go and they dig and they dig.
Is that the episode with Data? Where
Yeah,
he,
and he's the only one that's able
yep,
and he swears to never say anything.
yep,
I
yep.
love that episode.
That's
It's
a
such a good
great
episode.
episode.
It's called
Yeah.
Clues, I think.
I think it is, yeah, because and they keep like Jean-Luc keeps trying to order Data to tell them, and he's like, "Sorry, sir, I cannot do
And
that."
they catch it because the bacteria that what his face Wesley is playing with has grown too much, and that's how you realize that time has passed that they don't
Yeah,
know of. And I love the idea of like missing time, that like technology can tell us that we're missing time, but we cannot feel it. I feel it's too bad that we actually know what's happening in Prodigy, because I
right.
like that kind of
The mystery.
yeah, the mystery of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, no, that was good.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally gonna steal what MC said. Ella Purnell was awesome in this. Ella Purnell is just awesome as Gwyn. Period.
In general, yeah.
Yeah, but the acting here was just like she made me terrified about the loom, and that's a great setup because we eventually see them in 9 and 10 and just how like they are bad, you know. So I
The
think that
Legolians.
yeah, yep, it was just great acting on her part. Let's do final thoughts. Reverse order. Draft. What do you think about this one overall?
I think it's a great episode. It definitely made me think. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I less like it, sometimes I'm wondering. It's definitely an episode that made me think. So win-win. And I love the fact that it's an episode that I think every single Trekkie is gonna be able to read in a slightly different way, which makes for great writing.
Nice. MC?
This is one of my favorite episodes of the season. I love Zero, and I love this new plot with them. I like them getting to explore out further as a character. I do wish that it was a little less tropey with the terrible secrets and the racing and things like that. Because a race to the death, or that's very,
Star Trek?
very Star Trek, very everything. I mean, they're just making that Stephen King book into a movie right now. Was it The Walk or whatever?
You're right.
So yeah, it's been done to death.
Yeah. Fantastic episode. Probably top 3 favorite Prodigy episodes. Love it for Zero. Love the animation. Just definitely a highlight of this show. That's gonna do it for this one. As we were recording, I kept thinking about things and realized that for episodes 9 and 10, I believe it's the Devourer of All Things is the name of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing the 2 parts, and that's a pretty damn big 2-parter. It's also our 200th episode. So we have to go live. It was meant to be. So
That is great.
Join us live on our normal Thursday time slot, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, a 200th episode special. We'll have mailbag for the episode, mailbag about some favorite SMP memories, over 200 episodes, which is wild. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a celebration. Hopefully we'll have the whole
Let's
crew for
invite
that one.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton, join us for our
Yay!
200th
Will Wheaton,
episode.
please come.
Here's the
Tell
invite.
your people to contact our people.
Right, because we have people, aka we're the people.
We're the people, yeah.
We're the people. 200. 200. Let that sink in. 4.5 years, something like that. Wild. Bananas. Crazy.
Feels like 2 weeks.
Feels like 2 weeks. Exactly. It kind of does. Pandemic time doesn't exist. That's going to do it for this one, folks. Join us for episode 200 next week. For Emcee, for Girafe, I am Julian. Live long and prosper. Majram, sarcastic Vulcan salute. The screen just changed.
Happens.
You
Oh, I
raised your
know
hand.
why.
Your hand went up.
Gotta end episode 199 on a weird cliffhanger like that. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Good night.